So, um, I understand that my purpose here on earth is it's weird. I don't want to sound like such a like oracle, like individual prophet, like. But once you put in this program, even though this is very much technological, I understand what I'm part of. I'm a target individual, meaning that they're gonna do a lot of things to me for the purpose of improving and developing a technology. Now, there's gonna be a psyop of all sorts, right? You have your neighbors, you have clients, you have people, like you have coworkers, you have, that all gonna be involved in trying to make you accept a reality that's falsified. But reality is something that they're not gonna escape from. Right now, I'm listening to a bottom feeders that lives next door, trying to do whatever they can to make me stop talking about what I'm gonna say. They like to talk about how I'm gonna be screaming. Yes, I will scream, but I know that 7-year-old kids with autism being tortured too. So I find peace in knowing that people much more fragile than me, much more vulnerable than me, are being tortured by the same people talking to me. What you see here are some of the people that, for me, it's just been disturbing to see them try to live their fantasy. And for me, listen, I know men and women are involved in my targeting, but there is a psyop that's been applied onto me, which I detest the most. There's this sense of falsified feminism that is trying to be implemented on me to make me believe that, oh, it's our money, it's we're different, we're this group of like feminists, when in reality I know what they do to women. Matter of fact, the reason why I'm so aware of these patterns of torture is because so many women are talking about what they do to them, which is exactly what is going through what I'm going through. They try to dehumanize me. I don't care. I cannot look at somebody who respectably, no matter their status in life, doing what they do. Matter of fact, I would prefer people, like I respect people who are just like acceptive of what they're part of. They know they torture women and children. These people, at least, they have accepted the reality, and in the meantime, they're going to enjoy the benefit of them, but there'll be a day they understand will come and be reimbursed for that. They've understood that they're living for the moment and the benefit of the moment. Those people are more respectable than these people that are creating a reality, a falsified reality, where they're trying to block out reality. These people in front of me, I blur their faces because what these people are just the concept of what target individuals, how we are being forced to accept a falsified reality. They say the things they need to say to try to make me accept. These are very smart, accomplished individuals. When I see them stooping to a level of damn near spectralism and get to the same level of these bottom fears that are childlike individuals, I look at them, it's like, thank God I didn't have to live my life. These people have accomplished so much more than me. And sometimes because I work with, they try to use their status of like working status in comparison to my status to let me to think that I'm gonna let them live their fantasy. Now listen, in the real world, I will never try to make myself I would be very submissive in the sense of like, you are the status, I'm this, but this is beyond work. I know my time is limited. These people are not gods, they're just trash at this point that are doing things that are so disgusting, and they need to be seen for that. For me, I can't let them escape because of your status. You're the same as this bottom feeders living next door to me. I'm gonna see you and act accordingly because it's my purpose to do this. Now I'm going to try to maintain as much politeness as I can, but please don't think that you are any superior than these bottom feeders that are doing these things to me just because of your status in work. They are trash. And me, I'm like, can you imagine? Look how low you have to stoop. I know what you guys do. You manipulate me in these disturbing ways. I understand the benefits I grant. We're talking about the ability to manipulate human beings in so disturbing ways, and I will never subscribe to this manipulation. I've understood. They are so... it's crazy to see how much little old me in my dying phase, because that's what they're doing to me, can say something and scare these people as if I said the name of a god that shouldn't be spoken of. I looked at this person. They were like saying our teenagers, our high school, because they're gonna frame me and they're gonna discuss disturbing things. And I looked at them and say, Roy Moore. They all jumped up. I swear, I felt like I said some name, and really, Roy Moore has no tie to them directly, but because my employer put me in this program, they know who put me in this program, and my employer spent money on this pedophile. That these people know better. There's some kind of restriction in regard of saying his name, and I swear, I never seen people, especially to that status, just being so just snapping out of whatever they were doing. Because I say this name, I'm telling you, for me, when I say these things, it's like talking to like about a guy. It's like that name, Roy Moore. It's just a blasphemous name to say. But these V2K people, they try to say in different versions and like Road More, you are there, Road More, and try to use these mystical voices. But when I can see people in front of me, much more higher level than this bottom feeders talking to me, and look how scared they got. When I bring up this Roy Moore thing, I know it's just very specific. It's because for me, is as if something have been humbling the same people who call themselves gods, but they can't even say the name of a pedophile, Roy Moore, and clearly say that. If I say that, I've seen their faces. They are just scared. They have to find a way to say that name in just such a different ways and scared, it's timid ways. And because the reality is this, these entities contracting this low life or involving this low life here, there's a reality that these people have problem with pedophilia, which kind of makes sense. I don't know if it's a tie. I don't know if it's an actual correlation with the pedophilia type of torture they make us experience. But there is a problem with pedophilia in these entities that are running this program. And they will try to say, no, it's our money. Look at me. I'm a woman. Look at me. Look, I'm an intellectual woman. What do you think those people in this program are, in these entities are? What year? These people are delusional. It's like, do you think this psyop is going to subscribe to that? Of course you're an intellectual woman, but look how retarded you have to make yourself be all of a sudden. I'm not subscribing to it now. My sufferance is on somebody's hand, and I know who he is. But this trash participating in this are involved in a program that is killing women all around the world, torturing children. They are doing the pedophilia type of torture, and this is something they've been doing to people systematically. In my brain, they try to make me think in these retarded ways, to make me accept these pedophilia things, that they have been shown a direct, straight correlations of what they've done to others, to what they do to me. Literally, somebody calling out a woman on top of that's seen children that she teaches being tortured sexually by these bottom feeders, saying they do this pedophilia type of torture. It's like in one testimony, everything I was validated in just one testimonial. It takes like 2 minutes to realize, okay, well, there's something about the pedophilia type of torture. Oh, on top of that, they say, we're doing our children, he abused. This person, especially the men over there, because the men try to find ways to jump in and try to be, you're gonna die for that. People try to bring up and they will try to exaggerate what I did as a child. A kid in 8th grade, dumbass child who did something stupid, and try to block out what you're going to listen to what they do to kids. Sexually torturing a child as young as 3 years old, torturing his testicles. And what happened to that? Where all this anger and the frustration? Where's all this emotion? So you're saying it's okay to torture a child that's 3 years old? No, I know the reality. You're trying to live your fantasy. You are here doing some foul things to babies, infants. Do you know, when I listen to that and I look at this trash, this trash is probably a father too. Can you imagine your child being in this program like many other children, and you hear this bottom feeders, the losers that live around you, it's awful, you're gonna die. You see who is talking to this dongoro and the retard that live the little fantasy of who they want to be, when in reality just the trash the government contracts. For me, it's just that I will never let them escape. I understand the reality of what I'm part of. The reason why I showed the pictures of these people in a blur version is because they wanted me to see them in different ways. Now I understand the way I've been humiliating them, but just bringing up the reality of things, just literally showing what they do to women and children, and the psyop they wanted to create while they are here making themselves you're here killing and torturing babies. And no, and this woman, that's the saddest part, because she's such an accomplished woman. But I now see her for the trash that she is. I'm sorry. And she's like, you're our sample. Oh, so the other women and children being tortured, those are the other people's samples. So you're in a program where they have human samples and torture them, even children. But you're blocking that out. You're blocking out all these baby samples, these women samples. This delusion, and they use the same tactics this childlike people would use to gaslight people. No, this program that's empowering you to do what you're doing to me, utilize babies, women in this torture to get the result they want to. I'm not your sample. I'm one of many of your samples. There's no escapism here. You sold your soul to these entities. Listen, I'm not going to bring the biblical aspect of things because I know this is technological, but there is a biblical aspect of it. I'm not perfect. I know my imperfection. You're trying to erase them. You're not playing pedophilia things and manipulations and storylines, falsification. You're telling, no. Let me block out everything else that we are doing to women and children. But no, don't talk about those women that show the exact same patterns of the torture that you're experiencing. Because we are doing the same things to women and children. And it's obvious that they're the same people. For me, it's like, you don't agitate me. It's just like, I'm not gonna let you leave your fantasy. They try to use the thing. You know, I was doing this thing. They try to do things to make me feel agitated. I was like, I know what this is about. No, look at me. I know what you guys do. You want to get an agitation and emotion out of me? No, thank you, God. I didn't have to live my life like you guys. I know what you guys do, and you've been humiliated. I said the pedophile's name is just as if I said a God's name. Do you know? I know whose money it is. That's why I'm saying that. I know the reality and who's running the show. It's like in their mind, they're like, oh, you know what? Yes, I'm in this program that torture women and children, but I'm not participating in their torture, but I'm participating in your torture. So it's just you're the sample I'm participating in, but no, there's. It's trash. It's like me going into a program that is killing and torturing women and children. It's like, you know what? I'm going to go in this program that torture all these women and all these children. And you know what? I'm going to just for you, I'm going to join this program that does so much horrible things to women and children, including sexually torturing them. Trash. You are involved in this. So that alone shows what you're really part of. Now, me, you think I'm going to let you escape that? And you think I'm going to subscribe to this manipulation that you've done to people much more vulnerable than me? Never. Not only I'm not going to let you live your fantasy, I'm not going to subscribe to the nasty shit that you do to me, and I'm going to bring up what you guys done to women and children, burning their hands. What they're like, and remember, try to manipulate, exaggerate what I did as a child. You use her hand. They are here burning kids' genitals, testicles of a 3-year-old tortured, but direct their energy. That's what they contract these bottom feeders. But to see a grown woman with done all these things and wants to escape in this fantasy, and see this man over there, he knows that children are being tortured, and they'll try to say, no, it's over. It's like, of course it's over. I'm a target individual. It was over the second I was put in this program. But it's not over for you. Oh, that's one thing for sure. Now it's just a waiting time. You're waiting for me to suffer and scream, and then you wait for time for you. I'd rather die slow than having to live the life that these people live. And then on top of that, to add the cherries on top of all the cherries, they can't even say this pedophile's name, which I can't say properly. Roy Moore. Exactly. They can't say it. They are filled with pedophiles are running these entities. CIA, DOD, DARPA. Let me repeat that. Roy Moore. Exactly. For me, I'd rather die. Honestly, it feels noble, like, at this point. It feels biblical. That's why people get into this program and call themselves chosen one. Because you see the level of how low people have to put themselves and the way they're trying to, like, no, you are pedos. Like, unfortunately, you work for entities filled with pedophiles. I'm sorry for that. You wanted to live your fantasy. My bad. That's what they like to say. My bad. You're bad. Not only that, my bad. I know that you torture children all around the world. I know you torture women. The reason why I find strength and I'm able to look at you for the trust that you are is because women are telling me exactly what you guys do to them. Not telling me, but they have testified. And it's super systematic. It doesn't take an analytical genius. It's like Jesus. It's like one woman said, it's surreal the level of consistency they have when it comes to torturing people. It's like there's a protocol, a textbook. It's like, do this, and then that's that. Now, for me, they're going to try to add some extra sauce in order to create a theory, because it's been too embarrassing. Oh, they're going to castrate you. I was like, I will run to the screaming and just because me, I might be over. You, TBD. Some of these people have already got a little warning. In my 3 years, it's crazy the things I've experienced seeing others while I'm suffering and being tormented. It's as if, like, don't worry, something's gonna come for them. You be strong. Just be strong. It's gonna be horrible. They say, tell you, be strong, I'll be there. Like something. You be strong. It's like, okay. These people, they're gonna get theirs. They show the weakness, the cowardness, the level that you don't understand. Testimonials of people that you can understand that they will do these things. They even describe it. There's so many females involved. What kind of woman? You're going to listen to all these things. For me, that's all I will never let them escape. For all the blood they have on their hands. Even if they didn't participate in many samples, but they're in a program where they use human samples to torture them in this way to get the results. What do you think I'm going to let you escape? It's like me. I joined this Nazi group just for this person. I'm just giving a random example, right? I joined this genocide group. I want to get this on. Let me join this group that torture all these women and let me trash us. No. I'm thankful that I'm dying with the way these women and men and children are dying. This is a dignified way. Now I know why I'm dying. I know who put me in this program and I understand what is happening to me. In regard of like why it's happening to me in this fashion. So to all my target individuals, listen to what these people have to try to block out. Me, let them enjoy life right now. Yeah, I've seen this woman just getting nervous, start biting her nails as if like what these things makes you nervous. Can you imagine what's awaiting? TBD, me, I'm expecting the worst. But for me, no. Your psyop is not going. I'm not going to be subscriptive to this. You're going to have to try to block this out. And on top of that, the things I detest is because the status of these people in regard of work-wise is if they want me to be like, oh no, no. You think this is like, if I'm dying and screaming, you think I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, I should be like more like respectable to this person who is involved in this program? I rather starve in the street. Go eat you. But this is what is waiting for you. This is a noble way to die. Some people end up causing mass shootings. So to all my target individuals, stay strong and know what these people do.
My name is Catherine Nestor, and I'm from Pennsylvania. This commission has spoken of a long history of abuse of the human research subject. Although no one mentioned MKUltra today, President Clinton recently apologized for this. I have been used as long history of abuse of the human research subject. Although no one mentioned MKUltra today, President Clinton recently apologized for this. My young child and I have been used as non-consensual test subjects. We have been subjected to COINTELPRO-like stalking, remote neural monitoring, and electromagnetic torture, resulting in psychological and physical damage. And I won't go into the details of that because I have 4 pages written in here that is very similar to Connie's testimony. Please do not wait 70 years to investigate this. I ask Dr. Amy Gutman to begin today. There is new work for the Commission for Human Subject Protection on our shores. And please give us a dramatic response, Susan. And please give us a congressional hearing. Thank you.
Connie Marshall. I'm a former mayoral candidate from Louisville, Kentucky. I have never been involved in any criminal activity. I found a document in my bank account that said, problem with Kentucky government, check federal government paperwork and file before releasing information to anyone. I am an 8-year victim survivor of assaults by directed energy weapons. The torture I've experienced consists of body overheating, body extremely cold, seizures, heart pain, earaches, itching behind eyes, burning behind eyes, swelling, headaches, involuntary movement of my limbs, exhaustion, speeding and heart racing, hair coming out by the handfuls as if I've had chemotherapy, mind paralysis, being hypnotized or placed in a trance-type state, being tracked by a drone or satellite, controlled dreams, sleep deprivation, V2K, which is voice to skull, projected sound, extreme muscle spasms, and extreme muscle cramps, being made to fall down, blue circles around the pupils of my eyes, and I'm here and you can look at them if you like. Low frequency noises in my home, high-frequency noises in my home, sexual stimulation. Numerous electrical appliances in my home are destroyed. 4 computers, 2 fax machines, 7 telephones, 4 CD players, VCR, DVD players, electrical igniter switch on my furnace, washer and dryer, air conditioner. Also, my car radio, CD player, and engine were destroyed.
Occasion, I was told I was going to be shot in the face, and it was an older guy. He was like really, really disgruntled and pissed off. Yeah, just shot in the face. You know, some like an angry ass old person. You know, then a couple of days later, a female said the same thing. I'll get shot in the face. You know, stupid shit like that. But what I really noticed is, with the Voices Girl, it's a bunch of females.
College is working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism. And she was the most significantly affected of all of my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic. And they used her to threaten the most torture in me as well as their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions despite having a great day at school. This was highly unusual behavior for her, as she usually behaved very well during her therapy sessions and had been making incredible progress on all of her therapy goals. This was used to threaten extreme torture on me, making me scream and cry, etc. They would make the kids act out the kinds of torture that would later be done on me. For example, they would also sometimes make her bite her hand, threatening to make me bite my hands, as they often do. One day, she had a large, severe bite mark on her arm. She has also grabbed her crotch, saying, "Ow," and this was used to threaten me with severe sexual torture. One day, I also observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. And I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "Ow." I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions. During one session, I observed one of my 3-year-old clients suddenly grab his crotch and lean forward in his chair. And then he made a frightening grimace of severe pain. I asked him what was wrong and if he needed to use the restroom, but he said no to having to use the restroom and was not able to verbalize anything more due to his language delay. He looked puzzled and bewildered. Even though I had stated that it was time to do more work right before this incident, I quickly just let him play another game, and he quickly returned to his joyful, happy self again. In other sessions, he has also grabbed his crotch and said, "Ow," while looking up at me.
And have had a decent education. I live in El Dorado Hills, California, with my wife of 14 years, Lorna, and our 5 children. Nicole is 15, Patricia 14, Christopher 13, Dylan 9, and Avery 16 months old. Not only have I been going through this, but my entire family has suffered right by my side. We have all experienced the same type of harassment on different levels. We have all suffered the same symptoms while this harassment was going on. Some of our physical symptoms include severe tooth decay and vision loss, unexplained rashes and burns, severe headaches, mood swings, anxiety, thyroid problems, high blood pressure, heart problems, vision loss and cancer. Two of my children were born premature, which I attribute to this. Our son Dylan, now age 9, was born very premature. He was born at 31 weeks. During her pregnancy with Dylan, we were being targeted more so than other times. At the delivery, there were weird men walking and waiting around the hospital. Right outside our delivery room window, there was a white cargo van parked with 2 suspicious men inside. They were there the entire labor, a delivery. Our son had to be transported to another hospital 45 minutes away. When arriving to the Toa hospital, those same men and van were present. Three of my children have severe rashes that have not been explained by several doctors. These rashes have been present for several years at a time. If interested, I will gladly furnish you with detailed photos of the rashes. Our infant daughter, at 3 weeks old, was diagnosed with Lerner syndrome. This was after a severe rash appeared on her body after a few days of torture. We were told by a couple doctors to take her home and love her and spend the rest of the time we have with her. They told us she would ultimately die from this syndrome. Thank God that Lerner syndrome was not what affected our daughter. Doctors are still dumbfounded by her rash and symptoms. Sadly, we know that her symptoms were effects from the torture this poor innocent 3-week-old baby endured. Recently, I lost complete time. I exhibited the flashing lights. My 9-year-old son Dylan complained about the lights. You will often hear that vision is something that is greatly affected with this type of torture.
So you hear information couriers, people that will carry the V2K. So they'll say, we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's, satanic ritual abuse. And I've heard all the stories. One guy believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis that people will believe something other than a massive government could do this. And so anyway, my interview with Len, he very well described a typical breakdown script that's used on almost all the TI victims. TI stands for targeted individuals. Some of them are pretty crazy. They have names like Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz, and those are the confusion tactics. And when they're breaking down the ego of the human through all the pains and tortures and the verbal breakdown, these are typical CIA torture scripts. I mean, Kubark manual. And they do good cop, bad cop interrogation called Jeff and Mutt, and they go right through the list, right? Just textbook. So whoever the handlers are on the other side of this synthetic telepathy.
A 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. He was simply fired. One employee purchased sexually explicit videos of young girls filmed by their mothers. He resigned. One employee estimated that he had viewed up to 1,400 sexually abusive images of children while on agency assignments. Not sure what actions, if any, were taken by him. One contractor arranged for sex with an undercover FBI agent. I think that you mentioned that. Posing as a child, he had his contract revoked. One CIA staffer was charged with child sexual crimes, and the employee was also under investigation for mishandling classified material. The CIA did not answer detailed questions, saying only that the agency takes all allegations of possible criminal misconduct committed by personnel seriously. So you're saying the reason why they didn't take this more seriously, why there weren't actual prosecutions that were carried out, is because what they were trying to not only protect their agency, but trying to protect the country from being compromised in some way by our foreign enemies who would use this information in kind of bribery scheme.
I think
sexual crimes involving children, says BuzzFeed, including the viewing of images of abuse, have been uncovered at other agencies that handle sensitive information. In a November 2009 report, the Department of Defense acknowledged that dozens of Pentagon staff members or contractors had such images. In 2014, the Inspector General of the Intelligence Community found that 2 officials from the National Reconnaissance Office, which oversees America's spy satellites acknowledge viewing images of child sexual abuse during polygraph examinations. This is so disturbing. At a symposium in 2016, Daniel Payne, a top Pentagon security official, said that when workers' computers were examined, the amount of child porn I see is just unbelievable. Is this something that is happening for whatever reason with more frequency? Something that is more pervasive in the general population?
And into the intel community, you're put through polygraphs, you're put through a rigorous selection process. Why aren't these people weeded out? Why are so many pedophiles allowed to be given top-level security clearance? Remember, these aren't just people walking in off the street and saying, hey, can I get hired? Can I get a job? You're put through an extremely rigorous background check screening process. It's called an SSBI, single scope background investigation. There are people, they interview you, they interview your family, they interview your contacts, they go through your online footprint, they go through everything. So why is it that when they're going through these footprints, they're not checking, these digital footprints, they're not checking for so many pedophiles getting through their ranks? If it were up to me, you need to go into Congress, and Congress needs to launch a brand new church committee, number one, to talk about domestic surveillance operations, but number two, to ask the question, why are there so many pedophiles sitting behind
from this torture? Every day has been a miracle of survival. I also experience what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation, so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams and videos in my closed eyes.
But he thoughts of pedophiles. It's disgusting. Take this whole thing into account so much. I make it so dramatic. It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophiles. Like, it's disgusting things. And you saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's through weapons. I don't know. I don't care.
Through holograms to see a barren sexual. Then she felt that she was starting likening what she was forced to see every night. Then I thought how that could happen, but then I told them that they would never take my will, and since we all know how the psychopaths groups work with what the TI says or does, then they started during the nights to run some kind of beam where suddenly I've been wakened up at 3 o'clock in the mornings and some kind of voice comes and say phrases, sound incomprehensible, and some other times can actually catch what is saying, ITS not my voice, a different voice, and I realized that they are trying to program for me to take it in a way that I won't notice a possible change in my behavior. Of course this is not new, because one main thing this program is out there, is called behavior modification for the undesirable, and that's one of the excuses this groups give for the neighbor TO join, deception. I learned to talk back, in my mind, during the process when I was awakened, and I would say demeaning things, that I cannot repeat it in this blog, you know what I mean. Since they had violated me for so long, I decided to aggravate them with words, in my mind, I can hear my own voice. I told them I'm going to make you pay for all of the years of torture that I've taken, and all you are going to hear is aggravation. For every single second of my privacy that you have taken away. From me and my family. Then said this, the slaves began a program of perversion. First was with my dog. I am very playful with my pet, and suddenly one day that I was petting him I felt strange, in the sense of the word. I thought, this is strange, and then afterwards that strange sensation continued. Then in that moment I realized that was impost, so I thought, look at this losers, don't know how to put me down, and they are doing this. So I told them that I know what you are trying to do, and I started laughing, and then I said again out loud, you'll never take my will, ASS, so just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use of people, better said young people, also children and homosexuals.
When I aggravated them, I usually called demeaning names, and one of them is referring to homosexuals. For me, all of the slaves are misfits, society haters, scumbags, etc. No, I don't have anything personal against them, homosexuals, but as my way to aggravated the slaves, and since they love to use children for the torture and stalking, street theater etc. Especially teenagers for the stalking at close range with an attitude, they are using them during my sleep in the perversion program, and so you can imagine what the slaves of torture are pretending to do to me. In the last days, as today September 9th, 07, anything I do, either watching TV or reading of whatever I'm doing, they brush me sort of say, I feel like I'm aroused all day and I feel the palpitations in my genitals for what I'm thinking, and since the attack comes so quickly, I realized my programming has been set on auto, in their central computers, no handlers could do something like this that quick. What made me realized, the slaves are desperate to get me. Unfortunately for them, they are facing a strong wall where no matter how
the targets were forced to perform homosexual acts on each other against their will and religion in order not to be beaten or killed. This is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds. And vice versa is true, that
or voice to skull. This involves the projection of voices, noises, and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual as well. In nature and highly perverted, involving many combinations of sensory and motor manipulation of my mind and body and of the people around me. This includes many different types of zaps to varying degrees to the genitals, butt, anus, and the entire pelvic area. This also includes many kinds of movements, such as the rocking, swaying, jolting, vibrating, and shaking of my entire body or various body parts, specifically in a sexual way. The severe vibration is a highly noxious stimuli and is very intolerable. They sometimes do pulses or throbbing sensations on the genitals too, etc. There are also body movements such as rocking my pelvic area back and forth, repeated rubbing sensations, the sensation of something going up my crotch and in and out, etc. They also often force vaginal discharges and zap my genitals at the same time. These sexual assaults are present throughout the day, every day, and anytime I am awakened at night, every night. They range from mild to extreme, but usually involve daily and nightly continuous assaults for the past 3 years now. When severe, the zaps to the genitals feel as though someone is electrocuting my genitals repeatedly.
Stalking, electronic harassment, microwave torture, V2K abuse, and I'm asking you to help us end this crime against humanity, which has impacted men, women, children all around the world.
Hi, I'm Wan from Malaysia. My family are targeted individuals. We are victims of cyber torture. And I will not give up. I will fight to the end.
And I'm a victim of organized
We need this to stop.
electronic harassment. And I'm speaking to you on International Targeted Individual Day. I live in the U.S., in Illinois, and I'm a victim of organized
We need this to stop.
electronic harassment, microwave torture.
I've been targeted for 9 years.
24/7.
Please become more aware of this crime and those that the crime is being committed against. We need your support and help in ending this crime.
Hello, my name is Wendy Brown. I'm a targeted individual who is living in New Zealand, but my targeting began in California. I'm an American citizen, and the targeting continues in New Zealand. I'm making this video in remembrance of Targeted Individual Day, our third annual Targeted Individual Day. And I'm asking that every honest-hearted human being open their eyes to a crime.
My name is Jeanette. I am 56 years old and I live in Baltimore, Maryland. I am a victim of covert electronic harassment and torture. I am a targeted individual.
Wishes to hand down.
Why? Because it hurts. I need help. I need you guys to come get me. It's brutally painful. I have a house, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1st floor, 2nd floor, 2 garage, backyard, land, everything. Can't live in my house. My neighbors are shooting direct energy weapons through my house. I hold my heart like this. You know why? Because it hurts. I need help. I need you guys to come get me. Come get me. Oh, Lord, because I think I'm dying. I, too, believe my experience is referred to as no-touch torture, utilizing defense technologies. Jonathan Marino, he basically predicted all this a number of years ago in his book Undue Risk. I'm asking you to help initiate a congressional investigation. We've all come a long way. This is what is needed. We want to have the accounts of this extreme human rights abuse that's going on in our country documented and heard, all of the accounts. We also need what was done during the Clinton administration, which is a major declassification of some of these documents that are hiding what's been going on. I speak for many when I say we've suffered long enough. My personal experience has been 10 years. I've been vilified. I've been ostracized. I've been tortured. I have burns on my body. I'm an American. I have rights. The answer to the question, the big question today, could it happen today? The answer is yes. It is happening today. It is happening for some of us every day. I am begging for you to help us. Thank you.
You mean as far as the Justice Department feeling me?
Well, in terms of your being a victim.
You mean what I'm feeling?
Yeah, explain a little bit to me how you perceive yourself as being.
I have actual photographs of burns on my body. When I went to my doctor, the response was, how do I know you didn't do that to yourself? How do you even address that? I've passed 2 psychological evaluations, not 1 but 2. The one physician said, you're mentally sound as a bell. He said, I don't have any idea what's going on with you. When I go to sleep, when I go to try to sleep, I feel like I'm being lit up like a Christmas tree. I feel every cell in my body just bouncing out of my body. I can't even describe it. I get electric shock of my rectum. I get electric shock of my nose. I've woken up with burns on the end of my tongue. I've had burns on the palms of both of my hands. I vibrate. I can barely hold a piece of paper without quivering. Does that answer your question?
I'm trying to find what's the source of these.
The source are these exotic weapons. They talk about in 2970 that if you would pass it, it might give other communities the courage to do the same thing and show our Defense Department we are not the enemy. We are not to be attacked. We are not terrorists. Most of us are defenseless women.
And I've heard all the stories. One guy believed it was a 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis that people will believe something other than a massive government.